and I am going to share my screen with you. All right, so let's share screen. All right, so right now I'm in my dummy account because I have access to everyone's account, and to keep everybody's information personal, I'm just going to use a blank account. So for your major and your minor in the system, I am going to do a mock psychology scheme. So I'm going to use DegreeWorks and do the what if scenario and do a 2016-27 catalog. And the reason I use 2016-2017 catalog is because at the time, that is when they uploaded all of the schemes for co-op. So majority of the schemes are accurate, especially for the natural science majors. So biology, psychology, your degree schemes are pretty much accurate. Other majors have some little caveats with it, but you do not as of right now. So we're going to go to your psychology major. And for the sake of this session, I'm going to choose Afro Studies as a minor. Let's just say I want to focus on African American mental health and society. Okay, so I'm going to choose that as my major and my minor. I'm going to do a what if, and a what if is temporary. So it basically just lets me know what my major or minor will look like if I decided to declare this as a major or minor. But since we're using this as an example, this would be my major and minor in the system. So if we come down here to our DegreeWorks, we have our co-ops required courses and your topic, and then your subcategory requirement. So under each topic is a subcategory of requirements that you need to fulfill. If you have access to your DegreeWorks now, you may see that your courses are highlighting in blue and yellow if you've completed those. If for some reason you transferred in credits for your 2 English courses, sometimes you will see it highlighted in blue and it'll say, please contact your advisor. If there's a letter grade or a T next to that, even if it's highlighted in blue and it says contact your advisor, you can void that message, okay? It is a message that most students get when they transfer in credits, okay? But I have seen it with students who have a letter grade as well. But it is null and void. You do not need to contact your advisor if you see that. So down here, I'm gonna go directly to your major, and I wanna focus on your major things that you need to know as you're planning out your schedule. So if you were in my session for the fall of 2020, if you were not, the video was in the email that I sent this morning. But if you were in that session, then you know that I went through thoroughly and I did an academic plan as if I was a freshman student. So you've already had 1 year of planning, but there's some things on your DegreeWorks that you need to know. So here you have how many credits you are required to take, which is 39, and it's the same number here. As you're registering for courses, it will tell you how many you currently have, and then it will subtract that from your 39 credits and tell you how many you have left, okay? So down here, you have your first 2 courses, which you should have taken already, which is your Psychology and New Orientation and your foundation courses, okay? The Psych Research Design and Analysis and the foundation courses are the only 2 courses that you are required to get a B or above in. Psych 016 is a pass-fail class, so you're not required to get a letter grade in it, but Psych 001 and 002, you have to have a minimum of a B. If you do not get a B, then yes, you will be required to retake that course. For Psych 003 and 004, you can have a C or above, okay? It will not show in this section if you get a C in any one of these courses. The reason is because originally all of these needed to be a B and above. So they changed the rule in 2018, 2019, I believe, that said that you no longer had to have these two as a B. You could have a passing grade of a C. However, DegreeWorks did not get updated to that information. So the system still thinks that you need a B for this class, these two classes. So in that sense, when you take this course, if you get a C, it's going to go to a section called fall through. When it goes to that section called fall through does not mean that the course will not count. Fall through means either you got a grade that doesn't agree with the section or the rule that goes with it, you have completed that section, or you do not have room in that section. So fall through courses still count towards your degree, and I'll tell you what classes do not count. But everything else, if it's a college course worth credit, it still counts in the fall through section. Okay, so just to reiterate, 3 and 4, if you get a C, that course will not populate here. It will go to your fall throughs, but the course does still count for both of these, okay? Down here, you have your core content classes and your clusters. Sometimes you will hear people say psych electives. So all of these are called psych electives. All right, so you have your abnormal psych, which is your core, your cognitive, your psychology, and then you have your cluster 1, 2, and your psych electives on here. It may say cluster 3 or 4 on your paper sheet if you have a paper sheet. Now, the thing that you need to pay attention to on the psych electives option is because these classes vary in credits. So up here, you're taking mostly 4 credit classes. When you come down here, you're taking mostly 3 credit classes and 1 credit classes. So for example, if you take Psych 043, this class ranges from 1 to 3. It depends on the department on how they register the class, if you're taking the 1 or the 3 credit class or a 2 credit class, okay? Now, with that, the requirement for this Psych 043 may be fulfilled. However, if you took it for 1 credit instead of 3 credits, you're not getting enough credits to make it to 39. So you have to make sure that you're still taking what's required for you to get your degree, but also what's required for you to get the credits, because these 39 credits are built into that 120. So anytime that you're not making enough credits, you run the risk of not making it to 120 credits. In that case, you would just take another psych elective to make up the credit. You can choose another 3 or 4 credit class if they offer it. That way you'll be over the psych elective credit requirement if you have to take another 1 credit class for any reason. So a lot of students will see that their scheme looks complete, and then when they get to graduation review and I say, well, you only have 36 credits, did you take a 1 credit class? And then they realize, oh, I don't have enough credits, okay? Your Psych 011 is your capstone. This is a course that is required. You usually take it between your junior and your senior year. It is, from my understanding, preparation for the comprehensive exam. You do have to go through the department to make sure that you can register for the course before you register for the course, like most psych courses. However, you do not have to take this course until you become an official senior from the psychology department's reference, okay? So those are the caveats in your psychology scheme. So make sure that you understand that these 2 courses, you must have a B. These 2 courses, you can have a C, however, they will not populate in this section. Now, we can put in a petition to move those, but keep in mind, when we put in petitions in the system as advisors, we can only put in a note to have the registrar to move it. It is then up to the registrar to actually process what we requested. So it may not never move, but as long as your petition is in, or as long as you have a passing grade in this course, and it shows in your fall through, you don't need to do anything else, okay? So that is the caveat for your psychology degree, okay? So I'm going to stop here and ask if anyone has any questions about the degree that you find confusing before I move on to the academic planning session part.
Yeah, I have a question about fall through courses.
Yes.
I'm a transfer student and I have a couple of fall through courses. When do I expect to see them on my transcript?
So you may have to contact me directly if you don't have any of your courses transferred over. We need to find out if the Office of the Registrar officially has a copy, if there may be something wrong with the copy. If you have transfer credits that are already transferred over, but there are still some missing, you definitely need to contact me because I need to do a special form in order to transfer over anything that is still transferable.
Yeah, because that's what happened is I did contact the office and I did come to you. Some of my classes did transfer. There's just 5 of them did not. So I was just making sure like they transfer as well. So just contact you.
Yeah, just follow up with me. Your name looks familiar, so I'm pretty sure if I've done a form for you, I can just pull the form to determine if your stuff was processed or not, or it couldn't be processed. But we can reach out to the registrar, so it's not a problem. Just email me to remind me and let me know what the courses you are still trying to get transferred over. If you sent me an email previously, then go back to that last email that you sent in regards to that transfer credit and just hit reply, Ms. Young, I'm just trying to follow up with these transfer credits. And then I can follow up.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Anything else in regards to the degree scheme for psychology and degree works?
Hi, I have a question or a concern. I can't get into my degree works and I already contact the IT department and they can't do anything. They told me to go to registrar. Registrar told me to go to IT and like no one's giving me direct answers. I'm hoping maybe you can help me.
Okay, so 2 things. Number 1, you can send me an email and request a PDF copy of your degree works. So on your worksheet, there is an option for a save as PDF. Now, as an advisor, I can go into all of your degree works and actually view it if it's visible. If you're not a first-time student, meaning you've been here a semester, you've gotten a GPA and grades, that means your degree works is probably active. You may just not have access to it. I can do a save PDF, and then I can actually send you the PDF version of your degree works. And you can use that to plan out your courses every semester. The second thing is DegreeWorks is aware that some of you cannot access your degree works. So the issue isn't really with ETS, it's with the company who owns DegreeWorks and the Office of the Registrar. So the Office of the Registrar and the company Ellucian who owns DegreeWorks need to work together to find out what the glitch is in order to be able for you to access it. But that is not your issue. If you still need a copy of your degree works, then just email me and say, Ms. Young, can I request a PDF version of my degree works? And I suggest you do that at least once a year if you're not able to access your degree works, because it's not going to change per semester. At the end of each year, you would have done all of the classes that you needed to do. And so then you would know what you needed to do for the following semester. But if I give you your PDF now for the spring, then you can use that to plan out the spring and the fall semester. And then once the spring is over, you'll ask for another one. And then that would be for your next, to confirm what you register for the fall and for your spring, the next spring. So that's how you would plan it out each semester. But hopefully they are working on degree work. So hopefully this will be resolved in the next couple. I would say hopefully this will be resolved before you come back in January, but we all know how it works. Any other questions about degree work? You're welcome. Yes, you can minor outside of COAS. Very good question. If you want to minor outside of COAS on your degree works, I'm going to share my screen again. I like that question. So if you want to minor outside of COAS, you want to go to your what if scenario again, and you're going to pick your major of psychology. And then in the minor block, you're going to pick your option for other minors. Now you have to know what you actually want to minor in order to pick something, because this program is also set up to give you concentrations and minors in a grad program as well. So I had a student pick clinical mental health counseling, but that is actually only in the master's program. So she also picked business management, but the minor isn't called business management in business, it's called business administration. So we're going to choose that for that scenario. And so when you do the what if scenario, you can go down to business and administration. You can find out how many credits you need to complete it. Anything with an asterisk next to it means that it is a prerequisite class. That means it has a prerequisite on it, and you cannot move to the next class until you finish the prerequisite for the class above it, right? There are some courses, if you're trying to do a minor in communication, then that's going to be media, journalism, and film, and then the concentration itself is journalism. But they usually, for minors, just keep it simple. So it's either going to be media, journalism, and film, and then your electives are going to be journalism based, or you're going to do strategic legal communications, strategic legal management communications, and your focus can either be public relations or organizational management or legal communications. Communication schemes are not in here for the minors. However, if you want to see what the courses look like, you can do a media, journalism, and film major with a concentration in journalism. Let's see if it works today. And 2016, 2017, and process what if. So down here, you now can see what the courses would be. And usually in a minor, it's 18 credits in a minor for communication. So likely it's going to be the top 3 or 4 classes, and then the rest of the classes are going to be your elective options, okay? To get a communications minor, you will have to talk to the School of Communications to find out what you would need to transfer and in as a minor. Yes, Candace.
Hi, so we spoke earlier. I know we spoke like in person about me switching my major. I'm not sure if you remember. Oh, okay, good. And so I had a question. Like I filled out the form before, like for the transfer form, and I was looking for concentrations, and I noticed that, and I also looked on DegreeWorks for the concentration, and I noticed that they have human resources on DegreeWorks, but it wasn't on the transfer form. Is that accurate? Like, is the information on DegreeWorks accurate, like all the different concentrations, or do they just put more than Howard actually offers?
So the concentrations, so yes and no. So yes, the concentrations are accurate, but no, not for every program. So students will see the concentration and then try to pick like political science, their major, in a concentration in human resources. But the human resource concentration is only in the School of Business. You can't make it a minor within your COAS school.
Yeah, okay, that's good to know. I wanted to make sure though, because I know that when I do go to the School of Business, I wanted to make sure that they had that concentration there.
I believe that they do, but email me again. I can double check my schemes to see if they officially still have that. I know they changed out some of their programs, like communications did, so I can double check for you.
All right, I'll email you.
Okay. Any other questions about DegreeWorks? How can you access the what if tab? Good question. So in your DegreeWorks, when you open up, you're gonna have your worksheet. It's gonna have your major and your minor on it. You're gonna go here to the left and you're gonna click on what if. and you're going to do the drop down to 2016, pick your major and your minor. Only specific majors or minors have concentrations. If you're not sure if you can choose it as a minor or major, you can always go to the COAS website. If it's a COAS course, COAS has a specific website for minors. So you can put in COAS, Howard University, minors, and automatically that page will come up. Business and communications have the same thing. Communication, you have to scroll all the way to the bottom to see what the majors are and the minors are, and click on the actual name. So everything at Howard now is, if we say it is a strategic legal communications, you actually have to click on the word strategic legal communications in order for the site to open, in order for the degree map to open. Now, down here, you have a what if history. So every time that you do a what if, you then have the option to go back and review it for a certain period of time until you do a new one. So it erases as soon as you do another one. So the last one, the earliest one you did is erased with the new one that you did. So you can go back and see what were you thinking at the time that you did the what if scenario, or whatever the case may be. You also have the option of doing a look ahead. So I'm going to give you a scenario for the look ahead so that you can see if you can't reach me or an advisor for any reason and you want to know if a class is going to count towards your degree or your requirements. So we're going to let's do biology as a minor today. And you can do the look ahead. You can choose a future course that you want to take. So you can go BIOL, and then you would put in 200. And then you would add that course. And let's do a psych course. So we want to do psych 036. Sorry. 036. And let's do another psych elective. Let's do psych 031. Let's do a COAS class. Let's do POLS 001. So what it's going to do is pull up the scheme as a psychology biology major. You won't have to do this part. You can just go to your look ahead. But since I have a dummy account, I have to do the what if scenario with it. So then you go back up here to process what if. So now it's telling me, you can see I have 120 credits. I'm currently registered for 13. So now I still need 107. So I need you guys, as you graduate, to pay attention to this bar here, because it is telling you how close you are to get into 120 credits. And then this bar is telling you how close you are to finish all of your requirements. So those two things are different, and you can reach 120 and still not be finished your requirements, and vice versa. So over here is telling me 13 credits are going to be applied to my 120 credits. So I'm going to go down to see if I can see where the political science would lie if I took it. So if I took political science, it will automatically count as a divisional B, which is fine because I need a divisional B. So now instead of 2 divisional Bs, I'm now down to 1 divisional B. So I go down here to my site, and I now see that site 031 is showing up as my cluster elected. But remember, I put in site 031 and site 036. So we're going to go down to bio first. And I see that bio 200 is a genetics course. So it fulfills my genetics requirement. So it's being full credits will be applied to that 16, and then I'll have 12 credits remaining to take. Now, we now can see the fall through courses. Fall through Psych 036, Learning and Memory, if you have taken that course. That course is a psych elective. The reason it does not show here is because the course was added after DegreeWorks was already done. So they did not have 034, 035, and 036 at the time. And the same thing for child pathopsychology. If you've taken that in the spring, that course is going to show in the fall throughs because at the time DegreeWorks was created, that course was not active. So courses that become active after DegreeWorks is programmed will show in fall throughs. However, it is a psych elective, and yes, it does count. So you can use it as one of your cluster 2 electives or your psychology elective. In that case, this will no longer exist here, and then you will complete the rest of the requirements. Okay, so now you see in progress classes. If you were to register for these classes, it will tell you how many you're currently registered for, what your scheme will look like. So you are able to do this now with just look ahead with your current scheme if you're able to get in DegreeWorks. Okay. If you're not able to reach an advisor and you're not sure if a class is going to count, look ahead is your best option. If something goes in the fall throughs, remember what I said, fall through does not mean that it does not count. It likely means that it was either started, the course was started after the program took effect. You've already fulfilled enough spaces in that category. So for example, if it says 2 classes are needed and you took 3 divisional Ds, then that divisional D is going to show in your fall through because you've already fulfilled the requirement of 2. Okay. And fall throughs still count towards your 120 credits. So any credits that you get are in fall throughs. They are not separate. They are already being applied to your total account. Any questions about that? If your minor is speech language pathology, your minor is not officially in DegreeWorks. So you will have to use the plan that they give you on a paper copy when it's time for you to apply. You usually get a scheme and you can just submit your copy with as a documentation. You won't need to submit your major, you'll just submit your DegreeWorks print out of your major and then your minor scheme that you were given per your department. No problem. Okay, do I need to go over academic planning for your sophomore or junior year? Or everyone is pretty much okay with that portion of it? Okay, looks like a no. Yes, Kai.
So my question came after the fall through course thing. I was just gonna ask if there's a way that like if it doesn't show up correctly, like it's saying it's a fall through course, but it's still gonna count. Is there a way that we can see like a correct progress bar or just to make sure we're on track?
So for psych majors, I'm gonna tell you your cheat sheet. It's always in plain sight, but y'all don't ever go there. So you would go to your Psychology at Howard website, click on undergraduate. And usually down here, it will tell you all of the courses. So as long as you take what is on this sheet, then you can confirm that it counts. Okay, so the psych department has put every class that counts as an undergraduate class on this sheet. So if you see it on Bison Web and it's accessible for you to register and you go check this sheet and it is on here as a class, then whatever degrees work said is null and void because your website and your department determines the actual classes that you need to complete your degree. So on DegreeWorks, no, there is no way to really kind of change it. I just tell students, this is your document here. So if you have the opportunity to download this and save this on your computer, just in case the website goes down and you see a class that just pops up and you don't know if you can take it or not, you actually can come on this page to see if that course counts as an actual class or not. If you're still unsure, then the best course of action will be to ask the actual psychology department.
Okay, so basically what I did was I went to the what if and I put my major and then I put my future minor that I want to declare. And then I looked at fall through courses and it said basically like everything I've taken so far, like for general ed.
Did you change the catalog year? Remember, you have to change it to 2016, 2017.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And remember, guys, when you do the what if scenario, you know that you're doing it incorrectly if all of your half of your program goes to fall throughs. That means you did not do the 2016, 2017 catalog. Because remember what I said, that was the last year that I feel like it was the most accurate. All the schemes were in the system. So if you do 2018, 2019, or 2020, or anything like that, every class that you take in divisionals and co-ops requirements are going to go to that fall through section. So make sure you always change the catalog year. So 2016, 2017, and 2015 and 2016 are safe years to use.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So in the chat box, really quickly, can you tell me if I need to do the academic planning portion? Just say yes or no. Okay. Thank you. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to go over a freshman, sophomore year schedule on how to plan it out for your junior and senior year and what you need to know for your alerts. So let's start with the alerts first. That's important because you can't plan if you don't plan accurately. I'm going to share my screen. All right, so these are your alerts. So on your degree works, you want to look at the bottom to determine if you are having any of these issues, okay? And this will allow you to make your schedule for junior year and senior year to make sure that you get to 120 credits by the time you're ready to graduate. So your academy courses, in the year of 2017, 2018, students were placed in what were called academy courses. These were like remedial courses before you can actually take college credit. So with that being said, that course does not count as a math requirement if you took it as a math course, and it doesn't count for credits. So if you see ACAD 018, intermediate algebra for 3 credits, and your fall through or insufficient, well, it usually shows in your fall through section. If you see it in your fall through section, that course will not be counting towards your 120 credits. 3 credits will be subtracted at the time that you apply for graduation. So if you're registering for classes in the spring, then you know you are negative 3 credits for that class. So you need to add another class to make up for that. And it could be any credit bearing class. So you can take an additional course in your major or your minor, additional co-ops, divisional B. Just keep in mind at the time that you apply for graduation, 3 credits or 2 credits or 1 credit for that academy course will be subtracted. So as early as you know that this is an issue, you can correct it before you register. Double count classes. If you are a double major or you have, usually we don't have this issue with psych majors, but I'll give you a prime example for double count classes. If you are taking psychology 716, which is abnormal psych, that course counts as a 3rd writing, and it also counts as a psychology core cluster class. Now, that is perfectly fine. However, you're not getting 6 credits, you're only getting 3 credits. So students will automatically assume that they have completed the requirement. However, they do not have enough credits, and they don't know why they don't have enough credits. it's because the course is shown in multiple locations, but you only got credit one time for it. So in that case, you will need to make up the credit. If you have transfer credits, this usually is not an issue. If you're taking courses for medical school or some additional courses, then you don't run into this issue. But if you're showing a shortage of credits and you don't know why and your program looks complete, it may be because a course is shown twice. And usually it is that abnormal psych 716. Repeated courses. So once the grade posts in the system, then the course counts as a repeat. So if you failed Psych 002, for example, and then you have to take that again because you need to pass it per your major. When you're registered for the class is not considered a repeat. Once the grade goes in, the course then becomes a repeat. So for example, if you got a D in the course, and then you needed to take it again and you got a C, well, you already received 3 credits from the D. You're not going to receive 3 credits again for the C. You're only going to replace the grade. So it may look like you're registered for 15 or 18 credits when you're actually registered for 12 or 15 credits. So this is only an issue if you're exactly at 120 credits, because once that grade goes in, you actually only have 117 credits. So this is something that is easy to correct. You simply register for another course, or if you have transfer credits and you're over 120 credits, then it doesn't affect you at all. But this is just something that to keep track of if you're repeating courses. If you're not repeating any courses, then this is not relevant to you. Consortium or domestic exchange, if you have done a semester abroad, a semester at another university, just make sure that all your courses transfer over. Domestic exchange and consortium classes are basically taking classes at local universities. So the courses actually come back over like it's a Howard class. So if you took microbiology at UCLA, it's going to come back over as microbiology. Whereas if you did microbiology and then transferred it in, if you did it over the summer and transferred it in, you only get a T. But if you took it during domestic exchange, you get a A. So be careful when you do domestic exchange or consortium, because those courses actually come back over as letter grades. And that can affect your GPA. If you're taking a required course and you got a C or a D in the course, then you still will have to replace and take the course again because you got a letter grade for it instead of a transfer credit. Study abroad. The biggest thing is if you do study abroad in the future, because I believe study abroad is opening up, what happens is they put a placeholder on your account. So they will say you're doing the CIEE study abroad program for 15 credits. And then you go take the program, you bring your transcript back, and you transfer those 15 credits in. When you do that, those courses then will show up on your degree works in the correct spaces. So if you took a class to fulfill your Divisional A course, when you transfer it in, it then will move to your Divisional A. However, the CIEE 15 placeholder sometimes does not delete. So it will look like you have 30 credits instead of just 15. So you may be thinking that you have 127 credits, but when you subtract away the placeholder credits, you only have 119. So if you do study abroad and they put the 15 credit hold on, make sure that you subtract 15 from once your credits actually transfer. And if you do study abroad and they put 15 credit hold on, but you actually only take 12 credits, please keep in mind that when you return to Howard, you will need to take another course to make sure that you reach 120 credits. Okay. Let's move to academic planning. A schedule has already been created. So this is my fall and spring for my freshman year. So I've already done my foundations, my math, my English, and my Afro cluster. And now in the spring, I need to move on to my prerequisite of research design. I'm doing math, pre-calculus, and you're going to do pre-calculus if you want to go to medical school, because pre-calculus is a prerequisite for calculus. I'm doing my English 103, I'm doing my neuropsych, and I'm starting my language of Swahili, okay? So down here, I'm doing 17 credits. Last semester, I did 15. You want to do between 16 and 17 credits every semester. If you have to, for any reason, drop a 3 or 4 credit class, you still will be in the financial range. So 12 credits keeps you financial every semester. 15 keeps you on track with your scholarship. So down here we will come, I have decided that I am going to go to medical school. So I am going to add my HHBL in the summer and my Bio 101 for 4 credits to give me a total of 5. And I'm going to finish out my session 2 with Bio 2 and then my other HHBL for a total of 5 credits. So down here, I'm now doing my sophomore year, which is currently majority of the people in this room. So if you're not in this order, it's perfectly fine. But let's just assume I went in order correctly. And I'm doing Psych 003, which is my stats course. And this stats course is not the same as your math stats, and no, it cannot be substituted as such. I am doing, I believe this is racism and psychology, race and racism, or health psychology, one or the other. And then we have English, which would be tech writing. You can choose any other divisional. You can do your philosophy requirement. You can do your minor. You can add your minor in here if you wanted to. You can do another psych elective. You can do 3 psych electives if you want. You could do your 3 psych electives and then 2 minor electives, or a minor and a co-ops requirement. It really just depends on what you feel comfortable doing. The rule of thumb is 2 majors, a minor course, or vice versa. So 2 minors and then 1 major course, and then your co-ops priority classes. So your co-ops priority classes are always going to be your math, your English, and your foreign language. The reason you're choosing them in that order is because they have multiple levels to complete. And if you don't take them at some point, it can push you back a semester. So we want to start them as early as possible. So now that I have my fall schedule set, it's time for me to register for the spring. I have a total of 17 credits. So over here, I have done a spring schedule. So I'm going to finish out my last prerequisite, which is going to be Psych 004. I am going to do, I believe this is abnormal psych, but let's double check. Developmental psych. So we're doing developmental psych. And then we're doing clinical psychology. Swahili 3. And then I'm doing sociology because I've decided to go to med school. So that is a pre-med requirement. So in this, I'm getting a total of 16 credits. The one thing that you need to make sure that you're doing every semester is totaling up these credits. So as you do 15 this semester, 17, you do 5, 5, 16, 17, and then 16 each semester. Now, it's up to you if you want to go, if you're 3.0 or higher, and you want to do the max of 21, that's really up to you. But the reason you're going to total up these credits every semester is because you should be calculating the exact same thing as your transcript and your degree work. So if we're calculating these credits, we're going to do 17 plus our 16 plus our 5 plus our 5 plus our 16 plus our 17. Oh, I'm sorry, we did it wrong. I did 16 credits. So 15 plus 17, sorry. Plus 5 plus 5 plus, and then we did 16, 17 plus 17 plus 16. All right, so that gives me 75 credits. So on my degree works, at the top, I should have a total of applied credits, 75. If you subtract what you're registered for, that will always give you your earned total amount. So if we go to our scheme or our map here, academic plan, and we are currently in the fall semester. So if we subtract this 16 credits away from that 75, that gives us 59. So I currently have 59 earned credits. So in that, it's also telling me if I want to be a sophomore or a junior status, and junior is 60 credits. So I may need to add another 1 credit class this semester to make sure I'm in the junior status. I may want to add another 1 course or 2 credit class or 3 credit class to make sure that I exactly hit senior status when I'm ready to. So that's the importance of actually calculating your credits at the bottom each semester. And it's also, once you fill out this sheet and you do your sophomore, your freshman, your sophomore, your junior, your senior year, you actually will know what semester you are going to graduate. So if you get to spring 2024 and you still have some classes left and they cannot all fit in the summer session, that means you're not graduating in the spring of 2024, unless you go back to your previous semesters and add some additional courses, right? And we can always sit on one-on-one and review what you currently did to determine if you're adding too many courses or a course that you transferred in can be used as one of the requirements. That also can cut down on how many classes you have remaining to do. I always request that all students do this plan because you definitely need to learn how to do it in order to not go crazy and picking out your classes every semester at Howard. And also it helps me to quickly go through your scheme to determine if you're meeting all of your requirements for your co-op, your major, and minor. Yes, ma'am, Candace.
Yeah, can you repeat what you said about the fall through courses?
Yes. So I'm gonna share my screen again. Let's go back to the fall throughs. So down on your degree works, you will have a section called fall throughs. So for example, if you're taking learning and memory based on the psychology list is a course that you can take. It does count as an elective. However, it may be confusing when you come to the fall through section and you see that it's not being applied in that section. It is because during the programming of degree works, they only put in 034, 035. They did not add 036. So that course the system does not recognize the course in this section. However, this course does count as an elective. So everything in the fall throughs does not mean it does not count. It is being applied to your 120 credits. And it's also a recognized course if you find it on your scheme for your major. So if it's listed here as an option for the undergrad for you to take, no matter where you see it on degree works as a fall through, it still will count as completing one of these requirements.
Okay, and is that like the credits applied, is that included in the credits applied at the top of
So good question. So fall through courses always, you see this, it says applied. That means this course is being counted in your applied courses down here and also your applied courses up here.
Okay.
Right, because a lot of people will say, well, I'm missing a psych elective Or they'll say, I'm missing courses. I'll say, you don't have 120 credits. And they'll say, well, my Psych 036 is at the bottom. I'm 3 credits short. That's why I'm 3 credits short, because it's showing in the fall throughs. But it's not true. You're still 3 credits short, even if you see it in the fall throughs, because everything in the fall through credit wise is being applied.
Oh, okay.
So if you see that you're registered for all the courses that you need to graduate, and it still says 118, 117, and then you go to your fall throughs and see that there's about 6 credits there, you are still short. Those 6 credits are already being applied. And you can always double check it on your transcript. At the bottom, there is a portion that says transcript totals. It has your earned credits and then what you're registered for. So your transcript does not separate out what you've taken like degree work. So it is only based on your credit count. So you can go there, look at your earned credits. So if it says 59 earned credits and you're currently registered for 16 credits, you can add those 2 together and it will give you the total amount. That is going to give you the exact same thing as your applied credit. So if you still get 118 or 117, that means you are still short.
And the transcript we can find on Bison Web, right?
Correct. So if you go to your Bison Web, log into Student Services, go over to Student Records. In the Student Records tab, you will see View Academic Transcripts.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thank you for that. So I'm gonna stop and see if there are any other questions. I kind of went over the planning. Any questions about academic planning or changing majors or minors? So just so everyone knows, you are sophomore status right now. After the spring semester, you will likely be in the junior status. You will get an invitation to join the graduation forum. That is your opportunity to learn what it is you need to know by senior year. When you get to senior year, you will not be able to meet with an advisor in the Office of Undergraduate Studies. You will be directed to your faculty advisor only. However, if you've planned out your semesters every semester as stated, all you would need to do is meet with them to talk about your career goals and show them your academic plan, calculate your credits to 120, make sure you have above a 2.0, and you will be on the road to graduation. There is a COAS website for graduation. So if you want to get a head start on learning what you need to graduate from Howard, I'll show you what it is. And you can never be too early. So on the graduation website here, it tells you what's required. First is the 3-step clearance process, pre-clear, get your approval, and then wait for final clearance, which is your grades and your comps. Down here, it has your graduation form video. It has a checklist of everything that you need to know to graduate. You can download it at any time if you just want to make sure, get the planning together with your parents about who's flying in. You have a couple of years to think about it, but just so you know, this site isn't going to go down. This is your timeline for if you're trying to graduate in the fall or the spring. And then you have the video as well and the application. So you can read up on what's required for you to do. I highly suggest if you don't have time to just go through the PowerPoint presentation, to go to the checklist to find out what you need to be checking off every semester. So that's kind of like a tune-up to make sure that you're hitting everything that you need to hit. And don't wait for an advisor to tell you something that you already see. If you see that you don't have 120 credits, it's a simple fix by just registering for classes until you get to 120. Once you review for pre-clearance, an advisor will tell you if you're in too many classes, or you can ask. All right, Jasmine.
My question is, how do we declare our minor?
Good question. So if you don't know how to get to the form of declaring your minor, I know they changed it like 3 times already. So you go to the Office of the Registrar website. You go to Forms. And you go to the bottom and you're going to do major, minor, concentration change form. Now, remember what I said, everything now at Howard is the title of the form. So the actual link that you need is actually clicking on the title. So if you're changing out of COAS and you're going into another school, then you would do intra-university. If you're changing your major or your minor within the same school, then you would choose that, and then you would click on the actual form itself. A DocuSign will come up, and I'm gonna start it so that you can see what happens. When you do this, it's going to send you a code. So you have to actually go to your email and get the code. Once you put the code in, you are able to access the actual form itself. You're going to fill out the personal information. You can use your local address, meaning where you're staying on campus. And then down here, I have been telling students, if you don't want your form denied by the Office of the Registrar, then be strategic in how you fill it out. If you have a current major of psychology, even if you're not changing your major or doing anything with your major, you have 2 options. You leave this blank and put both of these as NA and only put down what you choose as a minor, or you can confirm that you don't want your major touched by saying psychology to psychology. That lets the Office of the Registrar know that you have no intentions of changing it, and please leave it as it is. And then you come down here. If you're choosing a minor with a concentration, then that's when you do the concentration. But if you don't, everything becomes NA. And then down here, if you do not have a minor declared right now, then it's going to be NA. But if you do have a minor confirmed, then it's always going to be what the old minor is to the new minor. Okay. So if you're changing from a single major to a single minor to a double minor, then you're doing Afro-American Studies to Econ and Chemistry. If you were a double major and you want to go to a single minor, then you're doing Sociology, Afro-American Studies to Econ. And then that lets the department know, the Office of the Registrar know that this is what you intend your major and your minor to be. Anything on this right-hand side is what they're looking at to change. So, and this is also what you want to see in your degree works. So if you're looking at doing your form and it doesn't look, it's the incorrect majors and minors, then redo your form before you hit submit, or ask a question and email me directly. I do have examples of how to change double majors and minors and things of that nature. Once you do that, you'll sign the form. It is automatically sent if you put your advisor's information on the first screen. That advisor will then get the email confirmation that you have completed something. I always tell students to give your advisor a heads up that you submitted a form for a minor, so that they can go into DocuSign and actually complete and sign the form. Once they sign it, it then goes to the Office of the Registrar for processing.
So would we put you as our advisor or the advisor for whatever minor?
So you would put the advisor for whatever minor if it's outside of COAS. If it's inside of COAS, you can put me as your advisor because I advise on your major and your minor, your degree completion.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Kai?
So I think you just answered my first question. It was gonna be, how do I find the advisor for sociology? Because I've been trying to sign up for that one. But I'll put down your name and email.
Yes. So if you're trying to declare a minor and it's still within COAS, for time and efficiency, just use me as your advisor. Now, if you are choosing a minor outside of COAS, you can let me know in the chat box and I can put the name and the email of the advisor for that school. Allied health science does not have any minors. So there are no minors that you can do in nursing and allied health. School of Engineering only has computer science. School of Business only has business administration. Communications has strategic legal communications and media, journalism, and film as minors. Fine Arts has many minors, has a minor, but many concentrations. So I would need to know specifically what concentration you plan to pursue in order to give you the right person.
Okay, and my second question was gonna be, I know that a minor is required for us, but is a concentration required as well?
No, psychology does not have a concentration attached to it. So you are not required to have a concentration, just a minor. And let me tell you, if you are minoring in COAS, as I stated before, you can go Google, and I go to it so much. So COAS, Howard University minor. And then it has the major and the minors on the department website, and you can go through. If you click on any one of these, so let's go to econ, to the undergraduate program, it has the minor option on there. So it will tell you how many, no matter what degree work says, it will tell you how many credits and the names of the classes. And this is for majority of the minors. You can go to the website and find out what the requirements are for the minors. If you can't find it in degree works, you can go to the website. All of the websites, I believe, have them up there now. Even the languages. Any other questions about the minors? You cannot do, as far as I know, a concentration in marketing and business. However, I will show you. Let's go back. Let's go to what if, because I do believe I did a business. I think I canceled it out. All right, so if you're going to do business administration, as a minor, these are your courses. So within this courses, you have principles of marketing, you have management, business law, accounting. There are no real concentrations unless you are a major in business. This is the business administration scheme. Now, you can speak with an advisor once you've declared it, or before you've declared it, you can contact Ms. Hampton or one of the other advisors within the School of Business to determine if you have the option to take additional courses geared towards marketing, if that's what you want to do. There's also in the School of Communications, it may be a little bit more flexible depending on what you actually want to do in regards to marketing, but they actually have public relations type courses that I think are more geared towards the marketing, like advertising courses. So it really just depends on what you actually want to do with marketing specific, because it may not be in the School of Business, it may be in communications and advertising. Good question, thank you. Okay, any other questions related to your psychology degree, registration, graduation, or anything? Yes, Kai.
Sorry, my hand was still raised.
Okay, Jasmine.
Okay, so I'm an honors student and we like start registration before everyone else.
Mhm.
When am I supposed to get my PIN? Or do I have to like contact you about that?
So good question. Pins are going to be distributed via email as always. They're going to come from the Office of Undergraduate Studies main mailbox. So individual advisors will not be giving out pins this time. So I do not know when they will be given out, honestly. But I'm going to send you everything that you need prior to them sending out the pins. I'm going to send you your contact information per the departments. I'm also going to give you the information you need to know for your hours and things of that nature. And then by that time, hopefully I will know when they are actually planning on distributing the pins via email. But right now I don't have a date.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions related to registration, pins, anything? Okay, and everybody understands that when you get restrictions on your courses, you have to contact the psychology department. They usually will blast you with an email telling you this is the information you need to submit in order to get your restriction lifted. So please keep that in mind, that I cannot lift restrictions. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so don't forget, guys, I'm going to send you an email letting you know how to schedule appointments, but let me just show you real quickly. I'm sorry, not appointments, because I am not going to have appointments this year. So you will go to ous.howard.edu, which is the Office of Undergraduate Studies. And then come down here, you're going to schedule an appointment. Yours is going to look completely different. You'll see a blue button that says get assistance. When you go to the blue button, it will also tell you if I'm available via appointments. What you want is not appointments. You want drop-ins. So you'll see other options. Always click other options, and then it will give you my drop-in option. So all this semester, I'm not going to have appointments. I'm going to have drop-ins. So I'm making it available for you just in case, you know, you get out of class early and you got a quick question, you can just drop in on that day, ask your question instead of trying to plan out something. Things change and we know systems have gone down. So I'm going to keep it as a drop-in for you guys, but you can go on there and click the option for get assistance and then other options, and then you'll be able to see the drop down. But don't worry, I'm going to send you the directions via email with your registration information. Other than that, if there are no other questions, I want to thank you guys for coming to get today. Oh, a question about grades. I love questions about grades.
So the question I have is like about actually previous classes. Like if you think you had an incorrect final grade in a previous class you've taken in a previous semester, how would you go about getting that like changed or solved?
Good question. So that is called a grievance. If you are not satisfied or you think you have proof that you should receive another grade different than the one that you have received, then you first have to start with the professor. The professor is the only person that can change a grade on behalf of the student. So you have to pull up your documentation that says that you should be getting a different score based on the work that you turned in, or it's a discussion with the professor about what work was turned in. It may be a miscommunication. They may have graded you based on 5 assignments, but you actually turned in 6 and they didn't see the 6th one. So you first have to have that conversation with the professor. Once you have the conversation with the professor will then give a response. Either it's, I'm not changing the grade, or I will change the grade. If you're still not satisfied, then you have to go up the hierarchy. So then it would be a conversation with the chair of that department. Once you have the conversation with the chair of the department, depending on how that works out, then you have a official grievance with the dean's office. The dean cannot intervene until you've actually met with the professor and the chair of the department. I always tell students to make sure you do get things in writing, conversations, and take notes if you're doing anything in person, and reiterate to the person that you're talking to. So based on our conversation, this is what I understand that you're willing to do for me, so that both people are under understanding of what is supposed to happen after that meeting. But at that time, then you can have the grievance to the dean's office if you feel like it needs to go that far. But sometimes it just stops at the chair at that point.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, if there are no other questions, I'm going to end this session for advising today. Thank you guys for staying until the end. I look forward to helping you with your spring schedule.